BRRRRRRR. I don't know how many R's there are. Everybody's doing it differently, but the way I talk about BRRR is as follows. You buy the property, you refurb the property, you rent it out to prove the income, and then you refinance to recycle your cash and go again and again and again. On this video, I'm going to break down this strategy so you can really understand it and make sure that you use your money correctly from day one. If that sounds good, you're in the right place. Before I get into the content, we do this twice a week, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and drop me a comment. Any questions you've got, let me know where you're locked in from and what you're doing in property. I always love to connect. So the BRRRR strategy is the one. Trust me, it is an amazing strategy. I love rent to rent, but at some point you are gonna wanna invest in assets for the long term. And it doesn't matter whether you're doing HMO, SA, buy to let, you can implement this BRRRR strategy to make your money go further. So first things first, what the hell is it? So typically speaking, when you go out and you buy a property, right, they always say you make your money when you buy. And that's true. But what happens is a lot of people will buy a property at market rent. Okay, they won't really add value and their money is locked in. Whether you've brought it cash, you've used a bridge or a more, whatever it is, you've locked your money in. Okay, and what that does is once you start getting the cash flow, it lowers your return on investment. Because naturally, if you've got 100 grand in something that's bringing you home £1 grand a month, the return on investment is less than if you've only got 50k earning that same level. So the objective is to buy a property, right, that's below market value or that has the ability for you to add value, okay, through a refurb. You then rent it out to prove the income. Yep, I've got tenancy agreements or a tenancy agreement in a single let showing the income. And then you get a valuer out to refinance the property and you force the appreciation, okay? That's the key. So you force the appreciation so you can pull all, that's the holy grail, or at least some of your money out and then go again and again and again. So why is it important? Well, for me, when I started, I didn't have a lot of money to play with. And most people will have a limit to the funds they've got. So the fact of the matter is, if you buy wrong or don't force the appreciation, it will take you a lot longer to grow your portfolio. And the old-fashioned way of doing it is to buy a house, yeah, and to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years until you build your pot up again through your jobs. Well, that's going to take forever. And you know what my mantra is? It's get financially free today, not in 25 years. So what you need to do is make your money work harder. And this is what this strategy is all about. So if you can get this right, you might be able to buy a property, pull out all your money, buy another property, pull out all your money, buy another property, pull out all your money. And then that's how you manage to get 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 properties, okay? So how do you do it? Let's go through it step by step. The buy, okay? First thing, you gotta buy the property. You can't do BRRRR through rent to rent. So if you're one of my rent to rent followers, yeah, this does not apply. This is strictly when you're buying a property. And the way I do it is I'd go on my Rightmove or my Zoopla and I'd find the property. You've got to find the property first that's suitable for what you want to do. Once I've found the property, I now want to look at comparables to see if it's at a good price, okay? So I want to see A, if it's at a good price or a discount, and then B, if there's comparables of higher value on the same road or surrounding roads. Now, this is really, really interesting, okay? Because sometimes if an agent doesn't know the area, like I found this a lot with big agencies, online agencies sometimes don't know my area like I do. So they'll undervalue stuff, okay? Or sometimes somebody will need a quick sell and they'll be like, do you know what? I could get 200 grand, but I'm gonna price it at 180 because I need to move quick. because I'm motivated, right? So a lot of people kind of assume that the price on Rightmove is always the price, which it's not. That's what they're asking for, and sometimes they'll be trying it on. But you need to just go on there and think, okay then, well, yeah, let me see. That's that price. You know, this has gone for that. That's gone for that. And understand your area. So once you've done that and you've realized, yeah, do you know what? There's a bit of a discount and there's a bit of a spread between the lowest property on that road and the highest, then you know that's a winner. And one of my favorite things to do is to buy the worst house on the best street. Okay? A doer-upper. BRRR don't work if the property is already nice. Okay? Because even if you brought it below market value, you wouldn't be able to prove to the valuer that you'd added significant value. In other words, if you buy a house that's all nice, 200 grand, and then, you know, a few months down the line, you then try to convince a valuer it's gone up by 50 grand, but you've done nothing to it, they might look at you a little bit off, especially short term. Remember, we're trying to do this quickly. Let's move on. The refurb. So you're gonna have to add value. You're gonna have to do a refurb on a BRRR as just discussed. So you can show the valuer, this is how it was, this is what we've done, this is how it is now, and that's our justification that it's now worth X. But the key thing is you've got to know your figures, because if you've got a 50 grand spread, there's no point you spending 60 grand on the refurb, right? So you need to do your figures early on and then come up with a budget. And the rule of thumb is for every pound we spend, we want to be adding £3 of value. So if I've got a 50 grand spread and I can add 50 grand worth of value, I might only look at spending, you know, 12, 14 grand. And then I'm going to hopefully achieve that 50 grand of value. So I'm talking kitchens, bathrooms, carpets, painting and decorating, cosmetic stuff which can add value. Key thing to consider here is sometimes when you change the use of a property, you can also add more value. So I've actually got a video of how I managed to secure a £340,000 HMO for free. And part of that was the fact that I could show the income. I changed it from just a 3-bed terrace to a 5-bed HMO generating 2.5 grand a month. And that was why I managed to achieve such a high valuation. If you want to check out that video, I'll post it in the description below. If you're finding this content useful, make sure you like this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe for the weekly content. So next is an interesting one because some people miss this stage out. But for me, I like to rent the property before I refinance. And the reason I do that is because it proves the income. Okay, you got to think banks, you know, when they're lending you money, they want to be sure that it's a good bet, that it's a good return for them, that is very likely that you are going to pay back. So if you've already got tenants in situ paying you rent, that bodes really, really well. Okay, so what I would normally like to do is hold off on the refinance for a minute, advertise the property, get tenants in the property, and then when the valuer comes out, you can say, hey, Mr. Valuer, here's my tenancy agreement or agreements. This is what we're achieving. And that is why it should be worth this. So you're giving evidence. You're like, done a refurb, okay? And then you're also like, yeah, and I've also managed to generate the income. And that's really, really important. I'm always battling with myself here because once you've got tenants in, it doesn't look as good. So, you know, when the surveyor comes out, it never looks as good because it's lived in. But at the end of the day, it's their job to see through that. And that brings me to the refinance. So refinance, let's just simplify this. All this means is at the beginning, you finance the deal, okay? Whether you're going to buy it cash for a bridge, for a mortgage, whatever, you got to finance it. After some time now, you're then going to refinance it. So that's basically a finance that you do after the property. And the ultimate aim of the game is, I brought it at this price, it's now worth this price, let me recycle my cash. So let me give you a basic example here. let's say you go on Rightmove, you find a house for 100K and you buy it. However you buy it, it doesn't really matter at this point. I'll do another video on finance. You buy it for 100 grand. Let's say, for example, you spend 25K on it and then you refinance at £175,000 because 2 doors down recently sold for 170. Okay, what that would mean is the value would come out, and if they agreed and said, yeah, you know what, it is worth 175 grand, the bank would then pay you around 130, which would mean it would cover your 100 grand plus the 25 grand you'd spent on the refurb, which means you'd pull all your money out and then could buy another one. You'd still own that one and it would be paying you every month. And anything above the new amount that you lend, by the way, would still be capital appreciation for you. The loan would increase, but it would still be for you, but you're good. Now, one thing to consider is when you do the refinance, because you're now borrowing more, the the mortgage payments will increase. They will increase, but you'll have pulled out your money so you can go again and again and again. Refinance, top tip. I like to do a little pack, okay? Only a small pack. Basically just listing the works that I've done, showing a few before pictures maybe. They won't need after because they're going to see the after. And also a few comparables. Make it easy for them. You don't want to overdo this because you don't want it to look like you're trying to do their job for them. But it's just like, you know, it's just like quite nonchalant, you know, like, they'll ask you questions at the beginning. They'll say, how much do you want it to be worth? I always go a little bit higher, by the way, because if I get a down val, I would rather be down value to what I want. Just saying. And then what you want to make sure that you do right is you make sure that you just nice and easy. When asking this question, say, oh yeah, you know, I've got a few comparables just in case you need it, or order of work just in case you need it. Chill. And then leave them. Don't hound them. Don't be following them around the whole house. Let them do their job. And then hopefully they'll come back and give you some good news. They come back and say, yeah, it is worth 175. You've got all your money out. That doesn't happen all the time. That's the holy grail. Okay? I'm not going to be like, yeah, you can go and do a BRRRR every single time. You know, you might only pull half your money out, but it's better than it being locked in that property for years. So that's it from me. BRRRR. It's a powerful strategy. If you can get it right, it will allow you to make your money go further so that you can build a strong portfolio. Any questions, comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.